This is a hard one for me, man. My favorite rapper from the Bay. Oh, man. Shit. Damn, bro. That's a hard one. Because there's so many, I'm from the Bay, and I grew up knocking this shit. And there's so many great motherfuckers that I can name. But since I gotta choose one, I'm gonna have to say Too Short. And I say Too Short because it all started with him. He's the reason that niggas like me and RBL Posse and E40 and Spice One can do this shit in the Bay, from the Bay Area. Because I remember, and I lived through a time where nothing but all the rappers were from New York. We didn't even have no studios and no rappers from out this motherfucker. The closest rappers we had was Egyptian Lover, and he was from LA, and LA Dream Team and all that, they was all from LA. So when Too Short came with Girl That's Your Life and 75 Girls and all that shit, that was kind of like, yeah, we got a nigga now, you know what I'm saying? We got a nigga now. And then I remember the first time I seen him on Home Turf. And I would just talk about Home Turf with Dominique Dupree. And he was on there, he was in the studio, he was flowing and shit, he was walking around Oakland and showing his neighborhood and shit, and he was talking about the Bay Area. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Everybody think that rappers just come out of New York, but you know what I'm saying? I'm from Oakland, California. We had the big donkey rope on and the Oakland, the A's jacket on and shit, the Levi's and shit. He's like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm letting y'all know that we got rappers out here too. And that put the light bulb on my head like, nigga, I could do it too. I ain't got to go all the way to Brooklyn and Queens to go find a record deal. We got rappers out here now, you know what I'm saying? I just go to Oakland and find Short. And then eventually, other rappers start coming. Mac Dre. Mac Dre was the next one. Mac Dre's name was big at the skating ring and in house parties. And then, like I said, you got Richie Rich and 415. Them niggas came and changed the game. Loonies. Us, we came in 1991, so we was kind of the second tier of hip hop. Because Short came in like 85. Mac Dre came in like 87. Richie Rich came in like 89. Us and 40 came like 91. RBL and them came like 92. So we was like the second tier of, you know what I'm saying, of the Bay Area rappers that came. So all the cats that was before, Dangerous Dame and MC Hammer. Can't forget Hammer. I was gonna say Hammer because he had the biggest influence out of everybody from the Bay, but as far from a street nigga's perspective as me, I'm gonna have to say Too Short. And no disrespect and taking nothing from MC Hammer, because MC Hammer took this shit to the next level. Pepsi commercials and world tours and shit like that. But Too Short is the soil. Too Short is the soul of this motherfucker.
He's the Muhammad Ali of the Bay Area.
He's Muhammad Ali of this motherfucker. You feel what I'm saying? So,
you got a million Tysons though.
Right. Yeah. But he's the originator of this shit, and yeah, without him, this shit, we wouldn't be recognized like we are. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that it never would have happened. Maybe it never would have happened if Too Short didn't come.
Man, he might have saved rap in general, because that shit spread like a forest fire.
Yeah, you never know,
With the independence.
Yeah, and then he the one kicked the independent shit off. That's another thing he did for the Bay. He kicked the independent game off. He's the godfather. Yeah, Too Short definitely the godfather of the Bay, man. E40 is the ambassador, you know what I'm saying? But Too Short is the godfather of this motherfucker, man, for sure.
When was the first time I heard Totally Insane, direct from the back streets? Oh man, it had to have been 92, 93. I remember hearing a lot about them once again on California Music Channel, because all the commercials, Intermittent Records, them with RBL, and I think Dre Dogg was on that label, and IMP. So it's legendary shit. But the first time I really remember like peeping them out, there was a Samoan chick I used to know back in the day. And shit, I still know her, matter of fact, but I ain't gonna mention no names or nothing. But yeah, man, she liked that song I Don't Even Trip, when he said, and people say I look like a Samoan. Yeah, she used to bump that song all the time. And then Shit, you know my favorite song on that motherfucker is the one Tell Me What You Know with the little Idris Muhammad beat. But man, that whole album was slapping, man. That's a town classic. Shout out to Phil and Ad. My partners, OGs from the neighborhood. And shout out to whole East Palo Alto, man. Totally Insane is the pride of the town. With Totally Insane, man, I know Chunk came out first. Sean T was making noise. But for some reason, man, like, everybody, like, no matter where you go, when you say you from East Palo Alto, the first thing they're gonna say is Totally Insane. So major shout out to Phil and Ed for putting that there on the map. Yeah, I think even though 40, is the ambassador of the Bay, and a lot of people know him, I still think that, like, we kind of just sleep on his legacy. I mean, his friendship with Tupac, relationship with Tupac, and Sibo and Spice One, and all the artists from the Bay back at the time, like, just the networking they used to do, like, I was a young kid, but I was smart enough to tell, like, oh man, he fuck with everybody. And I think that's noble, and that's something that these kids could pick up and put today in their repertoire or whatever. Like, man, fuck with the soil. Hey, you can't buy a good name, and there ain't nobody that don't like 40, man. Everybody loves 40. You don't even gotta be from the Bay to like 40, man. It's good peoples.
Man, E40. See, I'm a 90s baby, so like the first real E40 songs I remember was like Hurricane. Like that song used to, I'm so cold.
That's that freshman year,
bruh.
For me.
Look like my eyes been stitched together with stitches.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like E40 was going crazy. And then he also had his family, the Clique. The Clique was even crazier. What's my Sprinkle Me with his sister, Sugar T. Sister. Man, they went crazy on that. So
it was on their job.
That was my introduction. Like E40 and Too Short, those are, to me, are the pioneers of what this music is. You can even go MC Hammer too, but to me, coming up, like, those were the two cats I always seen, like, really, like, we putting on for the city, we putting on for the town, we putting on for the Bay Area, for the culture. Like, they always represent.
Back to that first album, though. What, Let's Get Drunk, Mr. Flamboyant. Don't forget about Tramp Dogs. Tramp Dogs is the one, man. The Dank Room, we'll be getting the draws. Bitch, you'll still be a tramp dog. And I used to like Sahabs. That was my cut on there too. So many fucking songs on that shit. Don't forget about Can You Mob Your Old School. There's slaps on that Down and Dirty. And the second Click, man, like, the whole thing go hard. CLICK. That, man, goddamn, man, them albums, man, these kids just don't know. Like, when you talk about 40, like, there's a reason why we love these artists and shit. There's a reason why my stinking ass is doing this BART, and most of it is because these artists laid down the blueprint, and we just picking up what they was dropping, man.
So, first time listening to the Click. What album was that?
Down and Dirty.
Down and Dirty. It had to be years later after they dropped that album, because I wasn't even up on them yet. But they were another bunch of pioneers, in the Bay Area rap game, where everybody told me, oh, they got that album out of the trunk of their car. E40 and Be Legit, the Click just pulling up, to whatever function it was, whether it be Hoop It Up or, just some simple mall function. They're just passing their CDs out late at night or something. After a club, they were those guys,
First time I heard Down and Dirty, the Click. First of all, shout out to Earl Stevens, Be Legit, D-Shot, Sugar T, the whole family. We childhood, man. But yeah, it's probably CMC. But I could even remember hearing hearing they shit at the A's games in the little BART tunnel and the BART station and all that. They's probably out there selling the tapes. Hopefully, everybody got paid. Them bootleggers. But anyway, man, motherfuckers don't even remember what bootleggers is nowadays, I'm sure. But yeah, the Click, CMC used to always be bumping that shit. You know, that Tired of Being Stepped On video. But as far as that album go, Side Hobbs was my shit, of course, you know. Bitch, you'll still be a tramp dog. That's my shit, you know. But Can You Mob Your Old School? Shit, Lil Bruce used to be gassing back in the day. Yeah, fucking there's a lot of slaps on that album, but shit, that second one, what the fuck? Yeah, game related. I'm sorry, I'm having a brain fart and shit, but yeah, that game related, man. I came out when I was in high school and shit, so freshman year, you couldn't go nowhere without hearing Hurricane and shit. Now we grow up and shit, you know, we already kind of knew what Hurricane was in high school or whatever, but now look at it all bottled up, you know. Much respect to E40, you know, always being about it. Yeah, game related was that fucking shit though, cause like I said, that came out my freshman year, so you know, it's like the blueprint, you know. It's codes. It's like a code of conduct, that album is and shit, you know. Everything from Wolf Tickets to Hot Ones that go through the ghetto.
First time I heard Too Short, I could barely remember like how old I was, but I remember I was living in Fremont, and me, my brother, my sister, in the backseat of my mom's Mercedes, and we would just hear Too Short. Would you agree? While I'm living my life, don't mess with me. It's been a long time, baby, since I first got down, but I still keep making these funky sounds. Too short, too short. And we like went crazy, and we just wanted to listen to it over and over and over again. So that was definitely one of our favorite songs. That was the first one that came out for me.
Yeah, it's one of the first ones I heard too. Yeah. Probably on the same station, like what, 88, 89, something like that?
I don't even remember.
Seriously, like Life Is Too Short, I think that was the first one I heard on the radio. It's like a big deal.
And my brother and sister, they're older than me, so I'm pretty sure they remember more details than, you know.
Oh yeah.
But and I always wanted to copy what they did, so.
The first time I heard Short, I remember I was living in East Oakland and staying in the house with 5 kids and my mom and stepdad, and his song The Ghetto came on, and I used to sit and listen to that and be like, damn, that's us. So Too Short at that time like helped me realize like we not the only family that's going through this situation in Oakland and stuff like that. So it's good that, you know, he made that song right there, because it really helped me get through my childhood and, you know, be able to go on and not fall into what the streets of Oakland was offering us at that time in the 80s.
Too Short. Bitch. Don't say that, son. I heard Too Short when I was a little bit older than him. But, you know, when I was really, really listening to Too Short, you know, I was after baseball games and going to the little functions, barbecues. Rest in peace over Uncle Johnny's house. Over off of Berryessa. We used to go over there swimming in the pool, bumping Too Short. Freaky Tales. You know, good old days, man. Just hitting on chicks and stuff at the mall and listening to that stuff on the little Discman. I don't know. Too Short he was everywhere. Everyone was playing Too Short. I'm just glad, like, eventually he got radio play.
Hell yeah.
You know, we was listening to Too Short and Two Live Crew. All in one mixtape. The DJs were just bumping that stuff because they know it gets all the ladies all freaky and kids get all riled up. Right. Listening to that graphic Too Short music. Yeah, man, just I really, really, really remember every time I heard Too Short, people refer to him as the guy that's slinging his tapes in the back of his trunk. And man, Too Short's a pioneer for that.
Legend of the independent
Legendary.
game.
Alright, the first time I heard Too Short, man, I had this cousin that was from Oakland and she was always telling me, short this and short that. You gotta remember, Short come out, what, like 84, 85? I'm like 4 or 5 years old. You know what I mean? So I don't think I heard Short till like, probably like 88 or something like that on KMEL or whatever. Either 88, 89. Life is Too Short. It's the first time I heard Short. But no, the first time like I really like, was fucking with Short on my own was when I was, listening to Born to Mac when I shouldn't have been listening to Born to Mac, you know what I mean? That was the first time I really started fucking with Short, you know what I mean? I think a friend of mine just had them 2 songs, Freaky Tales and the Dope Fiend beat on a mixtape, and I just slapped the motherfuckers repeatedly. You know, that was the only songs I really knew, you know what I mean? But yo, those songs is all you need to know.
West Coast Bad Boys. I especially remember part 2. But that shit was tight, man. Yeah, West Coast Bad Boys was a pivotal time. Like, everything was coming together around that time.
So
Yeah. The CDs were looking crazy. Had all the graphics and Master
funky
P,
fat
man.
graphics.
Master P really came through with that. And shit. Just the fact that like during those times he was really starting from scratch. You know, he was making a name for himself and building his empire to become what he became. It was dope that he like really, really, really he really made some moves out in the Bay, man. Yeah, that was dope.
Hey, what's up, man? So you talking about compilations? I would say the Bay started that compilation shit, man. 72 Reasons. Master P was going with West Coast Bad Boys. But I say 17 Reasons was the dopest compilation. Cause even my old lady was bumping that. We was bumping Take Me Higher. There was a lot of good songs on that album. You know, Get You in the Rhythm, Northside Soldier. Was all over that motherfucker. Juice. I mean, shit. Ain't no song on there that's whack. They was all slappers, game related, pimp shit. Just lacing you up on, you know what I'm saying, how to be on point and shit. So like, I say 72 Reasons was the dopest compilation, but there was a lot of compilations coming out, you know, at that time. What's happening, man? The rarest tape that they got slappers, but can't find that nowhere. I would say EPA compilation.
That Dead on Arrival.
Dead on Arrival. You could find those on YouTube, all the songs, but that one is a good album. Who else? Shit, Going Insane. They only had it at the mom and pop stores.
Alright, so the first album that I bought with my own chalupas, man, they was laughing at me up at the schoolhouse, right? Because it was all about tapes back in the day. You know, if we was, you know, rocking out or whatever, you know, we in the gym or whatever, you know, locker room, whatever, the black top playing hoop, you know, whatever the little niggas used to do back then, Little League, all that shit. You didn't have no tapes, man. You know, don't touch somebody tape deck. You know what I mean? You go put in, like nowadays, everybody listens to mainstream and shit. Back in the day, if you had to put in some goddamn top 10 radio and shit, man, somebody might have went for your jugular, bruh. You know, you had to be up on, because there was so much good music coming out back then, man. So I remember West Coast Bad Boys was just coming out or whatever, right? And I remember, you know, one of the cats at the schoolhouse was just naming everybody on the album and shit. and I ain't really heard of none of them. You know what I mean? And well, I heard of a few of them. You know what I mean? There's some motherfuckers from the Bay that of course you heard of. You know what I mean? But some of the people on that album I never heard of, so I went and copped that album from the Warehouse in Sunnyvale. And man, I just remember, I really think my ears and my life might even change when I took that album home, man. I remember on the way home, seeing OGs and shit, you know what I mean, running into people or whatever, just left the Warehouse, got me some tapes, and talking to people, telling them what I got, and they was like, oh, that shit's slapping, oh man, this is my favorite song on there, this is my favorite song, no, this song, man, this is the best song on that album, no, this is the song on that album, and just hearing how everybody felt, and man, I think I done changed my favorite song on that album probably about like 5 times since purchasing the motherfucker. Like, there's times when I felt trying to make $1 out of 15 cents, with the RBL with P. I like that song a lot. And then I remember the Dangerous Dame song, Another Level. I really think that was like a title track to that West Coast Bad Boys, even though nobody say it, because the name of the song is Another Level, and the motherfucking album West Coast Bad Boys 1 is Another Level, right? So I don't know, blood, but that was my favorite song on there for a minute too, because that beat was just slapping, and Dame was spilling on that motherfucker. The Easy SD song, that was my favorite song on there for a second. Putting in work with that trippy ass little effect on there and shit, little voice. That shit was hard. The Ray Love joint on there, I just like the Sebo one was hard on. Man, there was everything on there. Kilo song was hard on that motherfucker. The Selsky song was hard on that motherfucker. And now I think my favorite song on that motherfucker is the GLP, and this is what we known for.
Shit, Dre Dog. I first heard him, and in that one song, Smoke Dope and Rap. That shit was like a damn anthem.
Yeah, for real it is.
Shit, that could have been one of the Bay Area anthems, but
shit, it is.
But shit, that whole album was crazy.
Yeah, it's like a movie.
Yeah, that shit was hard. Jim Jones. The new Jim Jones was like, what year was that?
93, I think.
Yeah, 93. That was hell of a long time ago. Because he was one of the first artists, I think. I was totally looking for his albums.
Yeah.
At Star fucking Records. Like, I gotta find Dre Dog. I need that.
All his shit was dope.
He was one of the first people I was like trying to go after, get that. I need that album.
Yeah.
Specifically.
You knew it was gonna be good.
Yeah. Didn't care what it like. Oh, he dropped a new album. I gotta go get it. Gotta go pull up to Star Records. And, somehow get that shit. Had that Lip song, Av. That shit was hard. What else is there?
There's a legacy out here in this Bay Area. There's a lot of sharp shit going on that we was raised around, and a lot of shit to be proud about, man. And if you're from the Bay Area, you got to carry tradition.
The first time I heard Dre Dog, I Hate With a Passion was on a Burton CD that my boy gave me. I think it was like sophomore year, and I don't know what took me so long to hear Dre Dog. Arjun Nicotina, whatever you want to call him, I know him as Dre Dog, straight up. And first time I heard Hate You With a Passion, it blew my mind. I was like, now this dude is talking some shit. Like, he's talking about Tommy Tuckers and like, just that Dirty Worm, it's just, he was dope, and it was San Francisco to me was like, they were on some other shit. It's like, that was what I loved about the Bay Area. Every city has something different to offer, and Andre Nicotina was my first, like, honestly, like, a dose of like San Francisco, rap, and then I listened to Cougnut because of him, and then San Quinn, obviously. So I branched out, and because of Dre Dog, that album just really put me on. So, Kill a Whale was, everybody knew that song. Everybody, that bass line dropped. It was ridiculous. Situation Critical. What's the other ones that were on there?
Ike Turner.
Hit It From the Back. Ike Turner. With that sample of Ike Turner. You want to do what?
You trying to help Ike?
You're trying to help Ike? I'm a little tipsy right now, but you know what I'm saying. Like that whole album right there, man, is really special to my heart. It just reminds me of the album cover of him just sitting in the dark. You know, it reminds me of just smoking weed. You know, and the smell of it. Just every time I think of that album, just the smell of chronic smoke comes into play. Backpacks, you know, I got put on late, like I said, but that album right there, man, like that's just how I am. I go back to listen to, you know, old albums, you know, that I didn't get put onto and fall in love with them and listen to them like, you know, it was just put out that day. So, Hate You With the Passion, man, was just off the hook. And especially that freestyle he has. If Nicotine, if you listen to this, man, that freestyle was just off the hook, man. You didn't have to do all that. The acapella was off the hook, man.
More bass.
Yeah, more bass. Yeah, so shout out to Nicotina and Dre Dog, man. Yeah, that whole album was just it's real special album to me, and I'll forever knock it. You know, every 6 months I'm gonna bring it out. I'm gonna knock it in my car for about 2 weeks. And that's just what I do. So, you know, big ups to Dre Dog, Nicotina.
A nasty hand, Casanova.